Welcome to my presentation on Blender. This is a project I worked on with young women in computing to stimulate interest in game design careers. In this presentation, I will give you an example of what Blender is, the lesson plan I created, and the game itself. And without further ado, let's get started. Unlike other learning to code programs, Blender is famous for its 3D rendering engine, such as Blender Cycles and Blender Render. Blender basically is for producing animations. However, it can also be used for game design. And it can be used for game design by only adding in the logic bricks, editor, and the Python scripting, which you can use to create your very own game. Yo Frankie is a great example. It was also brought to us from the Blender Foundation. And what it does is it has a huge community that all comes together to add levels to the game. So if you were to go online right now and look for Yo Frankie, you can actually create your very own level, program it in Blender, and then upload it back to the community. And community members can play it, and they can give you good feedback on how it plays, if there's things that should be added, or giving you more advice about maybe something else you should add to it. And it's an amazing experience, I think, for the girls to learn that if you go online to learn something, you can actually learn yourself as well as with us, but you can learn yourself anything you want to learn and get feedback from other people who are interested in the same thing as them. So the gaming engine is powered by Python. Python is the primary programming language that Blender allows you to type in. It is what allows you to have uniqueness to your games. So you could get away with just going through the logic editor. It uses built-in physics to create games. You can use that, or you can add a little more variation for some special stuff with Python. So one of the things that was unfamiliar to the girls was actually using hotkeys and buttons. On here you can see that I mentioned that there would be a handout for the shortcuts. That is because Blender is primarily powered by shortcuts. You need to know all sorts of shortcuts just to get to things quicker, and I wanted to give the students an opportunity to get used to shortcuts as well, so I gave them some handouts to give them more information. Here's an example of what the interface looks like, and as you can see, it's very different from what we would usually use for programming, so it was quite a unique experience for the girls to learn this new program. As I mentioned before, the Logic Brick editor is used to create a quicker Blender experience. So if you wanted to do something very simple and you didn't really want to have too much going on, such as maybe you don't want to program your keyboard keys to move your character around, you can use the Logic editor. It has a built-in sensor that will sense for when a key is pressed, it will move forward. That's what these are: the sensor, the controller, and the actuators. That's the 3 logic editor bricks that we were using. Here's an example of the script editor, which is where we typed all of our Python code in. The game that we created was based on the 1976 arcade game Snake. The game is all about not hitting the barriers and collecting food so you can grow big. Let me show you an example of what we did in our game. So here's what the file looks like for our game. We have this outliner where it shows us all of our assets that are in our game and even in other scenes of our game. So we also have all here, this is where we used our Logic Brick editor. We actually didn't have to program some things, but then the things that we did have to program, we used it here in the script editor. And you see we have like two scripts that we created, which were both short. So see, that one was pretty short and this one's pretty short. This is the actual game itself. So this is how the game plays. You press P on your keyboard and you use your arrow keys to control them. So you see our little snake moving around, and then we have a counter that actually counts up when we collect food. See? If I can get one. Oh no. There we go. So we have our counter and we're chasing our food. And then we say we hit a barrier. Oh no, game over. So this red block right here is actually the start over button. So we can press that and start again. Start looking for our food again. And that is pretty much it. Unfortunately, with the learning curve, even with what I attempted to diminish, it was still quite big. So this short game that we created actually took us about, I'd say about 2 weeks to do in 1 hour sessions. But it was an amazing result to see the girls so excited afterwards to play their games. This game experience was great for the girls, and they learned something new. They learned a new program. They continued using their Python skills to create their game, and it was relatively simple for them also. So I'm going to end my example here. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.